aha yɛ nimdeɛ news sɛdeɛ da bia yɛteɛ no hanom kɔfare baa nsɛm a ɛsisie wɔ Ghana ha fa amanyɔsɛm wɔ ne amammuo ho ɛne yɛde ba sɛ fa NDC MPP and other entertainment ho ɛna yɛde ba ɛma wɔn nso waso ɛteɛ mu akɔ aba bio hwɛ sɛ ɔbɛ subscribe to yɛn channel no na wɔn nsa bɛka all other relevant news a ɛwɔ ɔman Ghana mu ha ɛto wɔ bɛwie yɛ nsɛm pii ɛna ɛsisie ɛne ateate wɔn a yɛkyerɛ wɔn a yɛboro wɔn a yɛgya wɔn ntɔkwa ahodoɔ a ɛkɔ so ɔman Ghana mu asomdwe ne ateefoɔ ne abobo a ɛkɔ so na nsɛm foforɔ asɛ sisi deda ne da nyinaa na mɛka kyerɛ wɔn no aha deɛ wɔde yɛ na wɔde asɛm firi sɛ paneɛ potɔ fam a yɛte na sɛdeɛ mpanimfoɔ nso akasa ka kom yɛ nnipakuo no mu na mɛpɛ sɛ wobɛtie saa nsɛm yi na nso wakyerɛ before that no subscribe na bio no for comment nso to aseɛ deɛ wie yɛ bɔbɔ ho ne yɛhwɛ baabi asusu a ɛde bɔde ho bɛfa mpanimfoɔ se ka kom yɛ nnipakuo no mu yɛkɔtie nsɛm yi a ɛwɔ Ghana man nsɛm yi mmra ne ɛba a yɛde yɛadwenkyerɛ nso so aba tie ne yie fɛ mu aba ma abomfu wei ɛnyɛ ntɔkwasɛm yɛntie mmerɛ sisi a
So it's always brought to you by Telecel Connect. The search for who received proceeds of the Dubois 49 million Ghana cedis Signals Bureau cash, as some minority parties have denied receiving part of the 8.3 million cedis election coalition logistics and equipment support from the Bureau. The former National Signals Bureau boss, Kwabena Dubois, was currently standing trial of allegations of stealing, money laundering, and others. In a memo to the National Security Coordinator, accuses the Attorney General of mounting a malicious prosecution against him, now claiming that the 49 million cedis he is alleged to have stolen were used on covert national security operations. Now, the memo also warns of serious national security implications if the state goes ahead to fully prosecute the case. Now, some of the political parties have already responded to this, all denying receiving any cash. We'll hear from them shortly, but my colleague James Aveji has joined me with some excerpt of that particular memo. James, remind us how much was allocated for the parties on this list and what was it intended for?
Well, Prez, so this is item 8 on the list, and the amount is some 8.3 million Ghana cedis, equivalent to some $500,000. Now, this is an election special operations to support as a support for opposition party communication equipment for purchase of that, and the intent is for stability of the nation or national cohesion / political impartiality, and this money was doled out in September 2024. The particular recipient of the cash,
and this is for election results coalition, the equipment they bought.
Exactly. Okay. But the particular recipient of the cash, although they said it is for the opposition party, purchasing of communication equipment and election result coalition for the opposition party, the particular person who received this cash,
and they made it classified in that
exactly,
in that aspect.
Has been classified on the document. On that particular document, Prez.
We also know of, when you go deeper into it, there were some other allocations of interest.
Exactly. If you look at item 4 and 5 on the list, talks about parliamentary special enactment of NSB Act, which is the National Signals Bureau Act 2020, an amount of 960,000 Ghana cedis was allocated for that in 2020 and 2021. It was labeled as MP's allowance on the Defense and Interior Committee. So this was meant to pay for allowance of MPs during the enactment of this particular act. Again, in 2024, during the special enactment of the NSB LI in 2024, an amount of 309,000 Ghana cedis was allocated for payment of allowance for the MPs on the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, which interestingly, at the time in 2024, the chairman of that particular committee is the now Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayini, of that particular committee. And finally, if you look at item 9 on the list, which captures election special operations logistics, vehicles, a 2024 Nissan Patrol Platinum, as well as 2024 Nissan Patrol Titanium, as well as 2022 Land Cruiser GXR, costing an amount of 5.1 million Ghana cedis, were purchased in December 2024, and they were given to the then special aide to the president-elect.
Okay.
That was the recipient of the amount as they have captured on the list. So those are the other, allocations of interest on that particular list coming from Mr. Edu Boahin.
Would put this to the parties when we do get them, but the main opposition party and our governing party, the National, so they were the then main opposition party because their reference to the president-elect then. The National Democratic Congress has rejected this particular, accession. Deputy Director of Elections and IT, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, says there was no way the then government will resource the NDC to take them out of power. Listen.
On authority, I'm telling you, the NDC has nothing to do with what came out from that story. You see, when they are talking opposition, they know the opposition they were talking about. Even those people that they are referring to, help them in their recent demonstration. You know their partners. That's what he was referring to. And I'm sure everybody would have seen that. Otherwise, no right-thinking person will, my arch opponent will give me resources to defeat him in an election. Doesn't make sense to you. They were also opposition, but they didn't find the need to oust MPP. They were always supporting them. When we were in IPAC, you saw your cameras were there. Anytime we were against EC and MPP, they will come strongly and be supporting MPP and EC. NDC had nothing to do with that. We fought them hard. We used our own resources, we mobilized our own resources, and dealt a heavy blow to MPP.
Is it possible that there was some money given to the NDC, but maybe it was someone much higher up and you wouldn't know about it? Is it possible?
It's not possible. I can speak on authority. It's not possible at all. I'm saying that these guys are just hanging on a raw store. It will help them. They should go and do plea bargaining. Otherwise, he's going for 25 years. In fact, we are supporting the Attorney General. He should go ahead with the prosecution and deal with him properly. The party has no business in whatever rubbish coming out from that corner. We are not part of it.
Well, we've also been hearing from the founder and leader of the Liberal Party of Ghana, Kofi Akpaloo, who in a twist of event is rather pointing accusing fingers at the two major political parties, the NDC and MPP, of engaging in a love affair to take over power from each other after every 8 years, and that the possibility of the MPP assisting cannot be ruled out.
It's a typical lie. It's a damn lie from the Director of Elections of the NDC. If he's not lying, it means he has no clue about what happens. The whole truth is that there's what we call divide and rule. It's between MPP and NDC. They have decided to change power every 8 years. So whatever they will do to help the other to win power, they do. So you see that in the previous government, they were making some mistakes that if you think about it, you ask yourself, why are they doing this? Because they were trying to pave way for NDC to come to power. That's the truth. They have sat down in 1992 when they were moving from military rule to this democracy that we are practicing. That, hey, you will do it and we will do it. Mm-hmm. So let's do it that way. So when the time comes, we will support you to win. That's what they have been doing.
Well, Mr. Akpaloo,
they supported themselves. They supported MPP. They supported NDC. They don't support other smaller parties. Nobody does that.
But what you're saying, do you have evidence to prove what you're saying, that they share that with NPP,
yes,
NDC?
Yes, I do. I have the knowledge about everything. So they share the resources.
Kwame Nkrumah Boatio, he is General Secretary of the CPP. Kwame, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Did you receive any support from the governing NPP in 2024?
We did not.
Nothing.
We did not receive any support. We received support from well-wishers, and if we had received anything close to what is being bandied about, we would have won the election. As you can tell, we're so resource-strapped. We didn't even have one TV advert, not one radio advert, and just had one billboard. The allegations that are coming out are preposterous because these are taxpayers' money, whether in a rich country or a poor country. You don't just dole out $500,000 to an opposition party for whichever reason, especially as it falls outside the remit of what you call security reasons. And the CPP, for example, what kind of security risk does the CPP pose which will necessitate $500,000 being given to the CPP?
But specifically, they said it was for communications equipment for election results collation.
The collation of the results, if you see the footage in the strong room, I was there with my IPAC members. We did the collation ourselves on my laptop. And our able regional chairman also did the collation themselves on the regional level and then forwarded the results to us. We didn't have any collation equipment at all, except our laptops. It was live on air. You saw it.
Okay. All right. Kwame, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. He is the General Secretary of the Conventions People's Party, Kwame Nkrumah, both you there. Let me bring in Mr. Vitus Azim. He's an anti-corruption crusader. Grateful to you, sir, for joining. Do you sense any corruption in what is happening now?
Well, it's very difficult to conclude without asking further questions.
Okay.
I would ask Mr. Duboahene, did these people that you said to give the money to apply for assistance? If they did apply, was it in line with the policy of the company or institution to support that, to give that support? Is there documentation? What is the proof that you actually gave those monies to those people? What was your expectation? Were you expecting a favor? Is it because you thought that the NDC was going to win so that you give them money so that when they win, when they come, they'll keep you there? So that, these are some of the questions that we need to ask him. Besides, now that the Attorney General came out to make this allegation against you, is it a way of trying to mess up, just to muddy the waters so that people think that, you have a case? We are not sure about that. So this is how I look at it. Yes, there's a possible source of corruption. Because some of the things you mentioned, if you want a law to pass, you have to go and give money to parliamentarians to pass the law. Somebody may say that will be happening. I know that we hold workshops for parliamentarians to try to convince them about the need to pass a certain law. But it was in the workshop, the amount of money that was given, was it reasonable based on what you were supposed to do? Investigation. They need to question this guy further, and then follow up on the beneficiaries of the so-called monies that he gave to.
Must this serve as the foundation on which to call for maybe lifting the veil on the expenditure of the national security setup?
You see, a lot of governments have always used national security to do a lot of things, to spend money that may not actually be legal. So just say, national security, so who said? It's national security. It's an investigative committee. They have a right. You may not publish it, but they can get that information. So if you decide to investigate, if it's national security, you need to give that information to the committee that is investigating the matter. It will not be made public, but they will decide whether there's a basis or there's no basis for it.
So not time for us to lift that veil, for us Ghanaians to understand the exact expenditure from the national security, because now it's shrouded in secrecy because of, as they say, it's a national security issue.
It would have been good for us to lift the veil, but the powers that be will not allow us to lift that veil. Because it's not one party, they all use it.
Okay.
So you may not get the necessary powers to lift that veil. But at least you should compel the person to provide information to a committee that probably is set up to investigate the matter.
Mr. Azim, kindly stay with me. Let me bring in Mustafa Gbande. He is Deputy Director of Operations Office of the President. Mustafa, grateful for joining. We understand that there is a meeting between security chiefs to discuss this matter. What's the update?
So first of all, I'll speak to you on this matter as Deputy General Secretary of the NDC.
That is fine, yes.
And this serve from that responsibility, Deputy Director for now.
Okay, that is fine.
You
Let's
know, attempt led by Atachia, his suspect in custody, to blackmail the system with the sole intention.
But can you position yourself? Your line keeps breaking here and there. Yeah, let's try.
I'm saying that it's a calculated, malicious attempt led by Atachia and his suspect who is in custody to blackmail the entire system, put national security into controversy with the sole intention of shielding his suspect who on a broad daylight is involved in misappropriation and stealing of public money.
Are you saying these expenditures didn't happen?
Adubuahin is not a national security coordinator, and for the purposes of reference under Akufo-Addo, there was a minister for national security who were in charge. Adubuahin cannot assume the role, power, authority of a coordinator or a minister only because he's in custody. Number two.
But Bande, the Adubuahin is not assuming he's a national security coordinator. He is writing to the national security coordinator
to do what?
Through the Director General of the NSB to put out these issues as he knows. Now, are you saying that these expenditures are not expenditures that took place and that he's only conjecturing them?
You know, the structure of spending and operations at the national security is far from this cooked criminality we are talking about. And so let me assure you that there's nothing far from trying to divert attention, and it is enough for Atachia in any serious jurisdiction to be discharged of his legal profession, because this is abnormal. We have had deputy national security coordinators convicted for misappropriation. How different is Adubuahin? Is it the first time?
But are you inferring? Hold on. Are you inferring that it was Atachia who leaked this document?
That is his lawyer. Didn't he go on radio to say that, okay, because my client have written this document, if you prosecute him, it has national security implications. If this is what he calls national security, then we are presiding over crimes. And I can tell you as a student of security that this is nowhere close to national security. This is broad day TV. You go and open an account close to the name of an institution you sit on.